Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy M54, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and tricks you can do on this device. To get started, we're going to open up our settings and navigate to sound and vibration, and then swipe down to sound quality and effects. Allow, and we have the adapt sound option. Now when you click on the text, instead of turning it on, it will take you to several options, as well as giving you the option to create your own custom profile. Now this profile is basically an equalizer for your headphones or earbuds, and typically it's intended for usage of to try to compensate for hearing loss that you develop over the years. But better option to do this is to kind of create a custom equalizer for your earbuds instead of your hearing, because each earbud might have different profiles, might be weaker or better at some specific frequencies. So if assuming you have some maybe cheap pair of earbuds and they don't sound too great, you could maybe go through this, and because they don't sound too great, they might struggle with reproducing certain frequencies that the phone will be playing, which you won't be able to hear. Therefore, it's going to boost it up and give you better performance. So you could try that out. Now, this will only work if you have some kind of headphones or earbuds. It does not work with the speakers themselves. Okay, now moving back to the main settings page and the display. Here we have light and dark mode at the very top, and we also have the dark mode settings, which allows us to switch between these two modes, either on a schedule, which would include sunset to sunrise, or a custom timer. So you can have best of both worlds, basically, during the daytime light mode and during nighttime dark mode. Now, moving a little bit further down in here, we have the motion smoothness. Here we have two options, standard and adaptive. The adaptive runs up to 120 Hz, while the standard up to 60. If you don't see too much of a difference between these, for instance, like these exaggerated images right here, then you might want to switch it to 60. This would give you better battery life. I personally do, so I'm going to stick with the 120, but for battery purposes, you could try out the standard mode. Now moving on, we have the screen mode, and it's set to vivid. We also have the natural one. So this is just a saturation of the display, and you can choose whichever one you prefer. With the vivid one, you also have the slider for white balance, so you can make the white color more warm or cold in terms of blue or reddish, depending on how you prefer it. And we also have advanced options, which allows you to completely tailor the RGB spectrum. So that is way over what I would need to do, so I'm just going to ignore this. And move over further to Edge Panel, which is this thing right here. And you have the option also under the display. And by default, you only have one thing here, which is the applications. But I also want to point out with a future update to the device, being the One UI 7, this will also include some additional shortcuts in here at the very top for like AI usage. But in any case, in the settings, we actually have handle, and this allows us to customize the actual bar. Now, what I like to do is move it to where the volume button is, shrink it, so it's basically the size of the volume bar. Good enough. And then make the transparency high. Setting it to the max transparency will basically make it fully invisible, and setting it to where the volume buttons are makes it much easier to know where the actual thing is. So you'd always swipe away from where your volume buttons are. And when you go back, you can see it's now not visible, and I can swipe up and always know where it is, as it's where the volume buttons are. So that's one thing. And another thing in here is the panels, and this allows you to add additional panels that come pre-installed with the device, and you can also buy more from the Galaxy Store. And yes, I didn't misspoke, you can buy them, and most of them are paid, though they're not like expensive. They're about maybe $2 at the best for one of these widgets, or however you want to call this, bar panels. So you can buy them, assuming they provide you with some kind of benefit. The ones that come with the device out of the box are pretty limiting, so we have things that I personally don't really care. The only one that I might care is the weather. So once it's added, I can now swipe up and then swipe on the panel itself to get to the weather. Now moving a little bit further down to the next option is the navigation bar, and this is this thing at the bottom. It's set right now to buttons, but we can change it to gestures. And One thing that Samsung did, which is pretty annoying, I think. Let's see. Yep, so they removed the option to make the bar transparent. Previously it was in the settings, but Samsung decided hell no, because people don't need to sign into our garbage Samsung accounts. So now it's locked behind Galaxy Store. Good luck. So if you want to customize it to be, for instance, smaller, right now there is no way to actually completely remove it, but you can make it smaller and make it so there's no like wide background below it. As you can see, it does cut into text, even though we do have still a little bit left. So as an example, if I were to go into settings, give me a sec. So if I were to open up settings on my phone, you can see I have it barely visible as the transparency has been reduced to max, and also it's not cutting into text anymore as I changed that as well. So it's now basically full screening everything, and the bar is thinner along with less visible. So that's something that you can try out if you want to customize the gestures to be a little bit less intrusive on your screen. You do need to download from the Galaxy Store. Good luck, and in there you'll find options for the gesture navigation. Now, continuing on, we can now move to actually see. Not here. Looking for always on display, which might be here. Yep, always on display. So it's an under lock screen. So you can tap on this, and in here you can customize what will be showing on your always on display. So we have tap to show. So just to demonstrate it, that's the default option. So when you tap on it, it enables it briefly, shows you how many notifications you have, and then disappears. You have always to always show. If we select that, give it a moment, and there we go. It's going to be permanently visible. This will be a bit of a increase on your battery drain. Then we have a schedule, so you can choose it to automatically turn on the always on at specific periods of time during the day. And a show for new notifications, so it will only turn on the do not or the always on display when you get a new notification, though this will stay on till you interact with the device. So if you get a new notification, it will be constantly on. If you just like double tap on the screen to wake it up or unlock it and then lock it back up, it will go back to being off till you get another notification. You can also show things like clock styles right here, to choose from a couple options. Show music information and other things that it can go over to customize the look and feel of the device. Now, there's one last thing that I wanted to point out, going back to what I did talk about before, which is the Good Luck. I highly recommend checking that out. It's an exclusive application for Samsung's, made by Samsung, and it just adds options that Samsung went out of their way to remove from Android, even though Android itself comes with these kind of options. So if you want to, for instance, clean up your status bar, stuff like that, change the way icons are displayed for notifications in your status bar, animations, or just gesture, how it looks like, all of that will be under Good Luck. It's basically a customization application that hid away a lot of the things that Android already comes with. Though, to be fair, it also hid it away, but when customizing it, it gives you more control over it. So, for instance, on a normal Android, when you have gestures, you can hide it, so you don't have this bar at the bottom, while Good Luck allows you to change the colors, the transparencies, the sizes, and all that stuff. So, it gives you much more options, but it requires an application that you need to download. So anyway, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.